What's going on, Joshua? What's going on, Generation Crypto? What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another Power Hour. I know it's been almost a week since I've held one, but kind of wanted the market to show us some direction. There's been a lot of unison. We go ahead and go live on Facebook and we'll restart. All right. Let me make a few more announcements. All right, Joshua, do me a favor. How's audio and how is video? You getting any lag? Is audio clear? Is it crisp? Do I need to turn up? All good. All right, Vasily, Randy Jones. I get so excited when everybody's is watching our Power Hour, right? So real quickly, I'm gonna go ahead and go over some of the recent updates that we've put out. I put out a market update on June 29th, and that said that we're gonna see an incoming head turn, right? And the 29th was right around here, right? I mean, we almost I'm sorry, it was on the 21st. So 21st, I put out a report saying we're gonna have a head turn, and I'm going to mark the 21st on the chart. And essentially, we saw the next dip, right? We saw the Japan dip. So the previous Power Hour on the 27th, I said, hey, you know, this is probably, we're going to see one more leg down before the turn. Several of us on margin, I picked up a 5,700 long at 25x, and I picked up a 5,800 USD long on 25x on a September future, right? So I'm gonna probably keep that position open for a while, and I've been adding at the dip, so right at 5840 that should be about, you know, 200% gain plus. It's 250 at 13%. So as that bottom of the correction, well, it's starting to appear like it, especially whenever we start talking about moving averages and RSI. We've seen a lot of rejections happen at this 30-day moving average, right? So we saw a rejection happen here, another one happen here as well, and a few other times. So we could see a fake out, we could see one of these dead rallies, but this is not looking like it because price has been consolidating right above our midterm moving average, right? And it's nice to see these candles above. And I've been saying, I've tweeted this, and I've said this in my notes, I said this in several of our discords, that we want to see the price stay above our midterm MA. If it breaks below, then I'm probably going to end up being a bear again. But right now we're long. Not only that, but we've seen Altcoins Rally as well, which is good. And if you guys read the reports, the June 21st, June 29th, and today's report, this is the June 21st report, and I highlighted 3 scenarios for BTC. Where are they? There we go. So I said we're going to see a capitulation scenario, which is going to be a price that's below 6,100, and that's exactly what we saw. And then we're going to see a market rally. So if price action falls below 6,100, you can expect a steep capitulation sell-off before the next rally. We saw the capitulation sell-off. In a sense, it wasn't as severe as I thought it would be, but now we're seeing the next rally. Also, I try to put in some hints and tips in these. I mentioned Mana and Ether Classic. Mana had a retracement since that profit take, but just the other day we closed it at over 100% in that 30-day hold, and then Ether Classic still moving up. So a lot of times I'll trinkle some minor details in these reports that you can essentially capitalize on and make a trade. So yeah, if you guys are not subscribed, you want to read those reports, there's links to them in the video description. Back to the charts. Hi, Delilah. Thank you. We're happy you were back. I haven't seen you over here in a while. All right, guys. Any questions on Bitcoin price action? Do you guys see any short-term formations you want me to cover? As far as like wedges, pennants. Vasily, you had a question, and I didn't know what the circle was around. You had a circle going on the BTC chart. So short term, there has been this divergence. So I'm going to highlight this while we're on BTC, where we saw this higher high and on the chart, and then a lower high in RSI. That's typically a sign for a sell-off. We hedged short. I moved my short stop to the profit and essentially closed my short on a stop loss and a profit, and I'm letting my long run from 5,800. And I'm just gonna let that long stay there. My stop loss on that long is currently like 61.80. It's right below this candle. We shouldn't see price dip below there unless we're going bearish again. All right, XPT chart, 2 hours on BitMEX. So we're talking about this pennant. I do see what's called a dragonfly doji. You guys remember the last time we saw a dragonfly doji? It was on a 1 hour. It was in this range, and I said I'm gonna long BTC on a perpetual, and we close it at a gain. So I've been adding contracts in this range, and I've been announcing that. I've added contracts twice to my starter position at 58. So I'm just averaging up on this run. As for a pennant, it's not quite concise or clear. Maybe on a 1 hour I'd see it better. It's pretty shaky, but this formation, I was looking at this just before going live. For price to open up here where the bears have been piling in, that's really good, because that means price just opened above a previous resistance, and these rejection wicks are starting to dissipate. So it looks like the bears are starting to get exhausted in this range. Let's pull up the Tensor chart and see what's going on. On Tensor, I did see a huge market buy yesterday. There was a 2,000 Bitcoin sell wall, and somebody just market bought that, which is a really good sign, right? Anytime somebody buys 2,000 BTC at market price, that was like, I think $12 million or so. That's pretty aggressive buying, and this sell wall was eaten up, and I expect us to break through these resistance at some point, right? Either that or somebody's just going to buy these sell walls if they don't get removed. So back to, what's really important now is the daily chart and price remaining above our midterm moving average, which is going to be right at the 6,400 range, right? This is what I'm really focused on, because that's going to keep altcoins in a good rally. All right, moving on. I'm gonna cover mana. Some of the signals we've played. I got completely stopped out of mana after the spike. I had signaled this chart some 30 days ago, right when we broke past this downtrend. And mana, every time it breaks out of a downtrend, if someone starts a new uptrend, this token has made over 800% during a bear market, right? It's very impressive. It's probably the top gainer in the bear market, and anybody that bought in right when I said to, and got out somewhat towards the top yesterday when I said profit taking 50% in exit signals, that was a good 100% plus gain. We had profit taken a quarter of a position at like 30% or 40%, somewhere around here, and then we had some bullish continuation. Profit took, and I did set a stop loss, and I had that stop loss highlighted on the fib, and I got stopped out. So I'm currently sitting outside of mana, and I'd like to pick up some more at some point, and I'll signal it whenever I do. All right, Ether Classic, right? We saw the Coinbase listing, and that's when this candle, or Coinbase news about the listing, that's when we saw this big candle come in on the daily. And I charted this on like a 4-hour, and I said, guys, let's wait for the retrace, right? Please nobody FOMO, because we don't do that. We don't just buy something, we wait for the retracement. And that was the perfect opportunity, and it's also the perfect opportunity to buy in on the retracement for a bullish continuation. If you're new to trading and you traded this one with us, you should know how to use your fib by now. So we deployed the Fibonacci, we bought the 50% retracement. I said there's going to be 2 buy-in opportunities. Let's do a price label, and we had one at the 50% fib and another one at the 61.8, right? And ever since then, it's been nothing but gains and pennants, some range trading, but we've had a nice steady breakout of 33.9%. We can call it 34%, or 33% of gains on Ether Classic. This one was highlighted in the previous reports that I sent out, saying we still had an open long position, and I'd been updating it because we saw this pennant take place. Pennants are usually a bullish continuation pattern or a continuation pattern, and here we go. Here comes the next breakout. Next token I wanted to cover, I also signaled this one on a pennant play, which was Digibyte, and it is doing freaking awesome, right? Where was our pennant? You can go to 2-hour. So we had long positions in Digibyte up here when it was making these bull flags, and those had a really stacked flag, which was huge. And we kept thinking, hey, it's breaking above the flag, it's going to continue. But then we had the massive market sell-off, and it made me really keep an eye on it, right? Some of these tokens that were rallying, they should definitely continue their rally. So we saw this pennant take place, several attempts to break upwards, but they failed. But I did maintain a bullish stance since then, and out of the pennant, we are up some 27% in 4 days on Digibyte. I'll take it. I'm going to cover Ether. Usually I cover Ether in Ether price action before I go into alts, so let's do that. So ETHUSD, Bitcoin's made I think a 13% off the bottom. It's a good way to judge to see which one's more bullish. Ether is made 14.8%, so not a whole lot more bullish than BTC, but it's also in a rally. The 1 day on Ether looks like it's lagging behind, as price has not closed above our moving average. You guys remember the Bitcoin chart, price was trading above. So I'd really like to see price action open up above our midterm MA, and for a rally to continue. Or if not, then ETH was indeed trailing BTC, lagging behind, and we could probably expect a retest of the previous lows. Right? We're in a swing trading. We don't just day trade alts. So if we get a failure to close above our midterm MA, I'd probably short Ether. It's just too soon to do so. I want it to break direction, validate a strategy before making a move. You are welcome, Bryant. All right, guys. Time for you to shoot me some altcoin requests. Priority is going to go to our Discord. If you're not on Discord, click the link in the video description, join our Discord, and that gets priority over Facebook and YouTube. But you go ahead and drop me a request on either Facebook or YouTube, and then I'll cover it. I'll cover some altcoin technical analysis for you. Altcoins. Show me once, show me twice. Right where you dropped this question, Ram. PPT going over to Binance. All right, so PPT, right? Just looking at this chart, just from the get-go, it is currently still in a downtrend, right? Just generally speaking. Let me see. So that's going to be our initial downtrend where we're seeing these lower highs and lower lows. RSI has not shown it has shown a divergence on a 1 day. Price action is looking better. This right here is called a dragonfly doji candle, and I'm going to highlight it. So this candle right here is called a dragonfly doji, and typically after one of these candles we want to see the market rally. Seeing this big probe, like a stop hunt, it just completely depleted all the bags, made the price drop even further, and now we saw the exact same candle or similar candle back here for a rally a few days later. It looks like a decent time to pick up a long. It's not the most aggressive token, right? I don't see any breakout formations. What we're going to do is going to assess the downtrend on a shorter term. It looks like it's broken the short-term downtrend. Just going based off trend lines. God, I hate when there's a probe because my chart will... There we go. It looks good, right? We're getting rejection above previous resistance, so the resistance of that trend line is actually turning into support. If you're going to take out this last high, stick to the last two highs, it's turning into support. Let me check volume on this coin. The volume's 182 BTC. That is fairly low for Binance. It's also on hit BTC, KuCoin Live, and OKX. Check OKX volume. It just got listed on OKX. OKX is an institutional type of exchange. This is looking fairly bullish, right? We're going to see some shorting happen for price to reach somewhere where the bulls are happy with before it can pick up some steam. I want to say I'm neutral on this token. It's because it's still in a downtrend, right? It's looking like it's starting to want to make some gains. There's not much more divergence. I'm gonna go back to the Binance chart. I'd say it's looking good so long as it keeps trading above that downtrend, and so long as we see more resistances turn into support. Covering ADA. All right, what happened with ADA here? What do we see on the chart? We see these higher highs, right? Let's go to a 4-hour time frame instead of a 3. Keep our numbers even. A minor divergence. So that was the first divergent high, right? Which typically we don't see a severe pullback on the first divergent high. yet it's pulling back. If you're going to draw a short-term fib to measure a retracement, might as well do that. And we're seeing a bullish continuation off the 50% fib. So just like the Ether Classic play I covered earlier, you know, a good buy back in or a good point to accumulate ADA. There's going to be two of them. One of them is going to be that 50% fib, and the following one is the 61.8. It is nice to see rejection, this massive wick below the 50, and then price moving up. Looks like we could be seeing somewhat of a bull flag. Let me go to a different time frame. Not quite, right? Price is being suppressed. You see it kind of curve around below my longer term moving average, but I would expect some kind of bullish continuation out of ADA. Now, July 9th through the 13th, we're expecting some pretty solid volatility out of some of the top 10 coins, and I will post about those coins in Strong FATA and tag everyone or everybody in our community to give you guys access, because we're expecting some really good upwards volatility the 9th through the 13th in some tokens. TX. What exchange is that on? Bitrix. I do not like charts like this one, right? It looks like a pump and dump type of token right now. This isn't ticks. Okay. You see these massive pumps and just wicked right back down. I would stay away from a chart like that. It's also trading on very thin volume. 3 Bitcoin. Oh, you're welcome. No worries. I got a request for EOS. So EOS got recently listed on BitMEX, right? People are going to be able to short EOS or speculate on shorting EOS. There's been quite a bit of FUD on this token, and we can expect that to show itself on the chart, right? The chart's going to react to any kind of negative feedback, whether it's FUD or real. We see that happen over and over. So just a second. Moving averages on the daily do not look very good. Even though EOS is known to have these volatile upswings. There wasn't a bear div on the daily on this last high. Let me check these highs on a shorter time frame, or look for a bull div on a shorter time frame. It looks like it did a failure swing on a 4-hour chart, right? Where RSI fails to re-enter oversold, but it keeps, you know, maintaining this range, breaking below the range. And I'm talking about this area where price, well, it didn't make a lower low, it rallied back up. I'm fairly cautious of EOS. I did put out a short EOS recommendation some weeks ago, and then the guys made 140% in a quick trade on shorting EOS. I would wait for the dust to settle on this one, maybe pick it up at the bottom of the current range. So let me get rid of volume. So a range is going to be 3 touches, right? So you got a 1 touch, 2 touch, not quite a third. A good place to buy in on a tight stop would be at the next touch of the range. Also, let's look for a breakout above the range. So if you're bagging EOS, I don't know how big your bag is or what your intentions are. I would place an alert at the top of the range for a potential breakout and an alert at the bottom of the range for another potential breakout. And while we're zoomed in, I'll fib this short-term move so you can see what to expect from fib levels. It's currently trading above the 61, which is good. We're seeing what looked like a bear flag. When we zoom in, it looks like a pennant now, where it's like a bullish pennant at the bottom of a drop, so we might see it make a move back up towards the top of the range. Right, taking more altcoin requests. You guys hit me with 3 altcoins. Or you're on Facebook or YouTube, Discord. Let's cover SNM on Binance. I had seen this pennant that I signaled, and it seemed to have broken down, right? Typically when we play a pennant, we want to put a stop below the pennant. This thing was looking fairly aggressive. And I was expecting it to essentially start rallying, with the entire market rallying, especially towards the end of this pennant. Typically W formations are bullish. We didn't see any divergences here. We did not see divergences. So let's look at what's going on with the candles. Bounced off, oversold, not quite a real divergence there. Go to daily. So if we were to fib it on a 1 day, we also see another dragonfly doji, right? Another reversal candle. I'd give this a day or 2 to start showing some direction before hopping back in. It's also a dragonfly doji at the 61.8. That's a key area, right? That anything below that is considered not bullish, but we saw rejection, and the next open is right above the 61.8. Checking volume today, 41. That's fairly low volume. I would just keep an eye on it, right? Maybe set an alert at the 50% fib, as this chart has, it's been making these higher lows, right? This is reversal candle, so I can expect it to start making headways. XRP and ARK, good morning, T-Mummy. Or good evening over here. Ripple. All right, Ripple on a 1 day. We're seeing what's called the failure swing, right? We saw this on BTC a few days ago. Right before the head turn, where it failed to make these higher highs. Also, you know, we're seeing that the hammer candle, it's like the inverse of a dragonfly doji. You got the wick up top, so that's typically going to say price action is going to come back down. Though RSI is looking like it's bottoming on a 1 day chart. Go ahead and do an ARK on here. or a curve. While price action is still relatively, so this was our lowest point on RSI, this next low, this next low. So on a daily chart, it looks like XRP could be at a potential bottom, right? We do know, I don't know how long you've been trading crypto, but Ripple rallies when it's somewhat least expected to. Let me go to Bittrex chart. And when they had this their conference last year in Canada, we were expecting it to really, you know, start making these gains, but instead it made a little gains and then it kind of got crushed and then went for a rally. So Ripple is somewhat of a capitulation token. If we're gonna Elliott wave this, correction wave 1, 2, 3, 4. Possibly at the end of a 5. But, you know, once again, this is why I like trading momentum trading, right? Momentum tokens where we're in an uptrend, something like either Classic or Mana or Digibyte, some of these tokens that have already broken out fairly a little bit at a Fibonacci retracement level or at breakout formation with moving averages pointing up, where there's all these bullish signals accumulating on the same token instead of hodling. And then, you know, stop losses. ARK. All right, ARK on the daily. This is looking good. Price is above the midterm MA. And looks like RSI definitely didn't quite diverge. When was the last time we entered this oversold? Wow, ARK has never been as oversold as it has been. We can expect this one to make some headways, though bear in mind it has been in a downtrend since 9/14 of last year, right? I don't really like that. Currently trading above that downtrend, but it's still trickling down. Let's go check for breakout formations on short term. Oh, back to the 1 day. Thought I saw a reverse triangle, which is typically bullish as well. But let's go to a 2 hour. RSI's got some room to run before we find out if it's divergent or not. The 2 hour is showing me somewhat of a bull flag, and price action tried to dip down, bulls pushed back up, and now we're still sitting almost above that flag. There was also a pennant here, so candlesticks here look fairly bullish on an intraday, right? But then in the long-term scope, if ARK does go on a reversal, then we're going to see it possibly make some really substantial gains. So you saw this pennant, it broke, price came up, retested the top of the pennant. Now it's open below, broke above, and now the bears are somewhat trying to push it back down. Back to the daily chart. I like what's going on here, right? As we approach our longer term moving average, that would be our next resistance. Then this incoming cross typically results in a little bit of volatility. It has not happened. Well, I'll go over this one if you guys want to get my next altcoins ready, and I can go over those next, right? So as we see this short-term moving average crossover, we can expect a little bit of volatility from ARK. You're welcome, T-Mom. Right, doing 2 pitch fans on XBT. Let's go to Bitfinex. What time frame? You want to get the overall downtrend, the overall uptrend? Is that what you're asking about? For DMI indicator, there's a specific workshop that I did just for the DMI, right? So if you could refer to that workshop, it should answer all your DMI questions. Right, the pressure's on. All right, let's start with the pitch fan and then we'll go into DMI. The latest downtrend started here, right? So I'm going to utilize this downtrend and assess it from there. So what we're going to do, we're going to go to pitch fan, select pitch fan, start at the top, pick a swing low, and then a swing high. I'm not sure if you can see this last purple line, right? Let me go ahead and so how valid is this pitch fan? Did it constrict price action? Well, now it is, right? Our last fib level up here, it has been the highest point of resistance. Now, as price action breaks out of this pitch fan, right, then we can get rid of this downtrend and maybe look at further trends. And to set up our uptrend, this one's gonna be a little tricky. I gotta go on an intraday for this. You can sort of clearly see, where price is consolidating, between these fib levels and turning at certain levels. So let's try to assess what's next. I think this uptrend is currently way too young because we've got a swing low, but we don't have a swing high, swing low to fib this from. So this current move is too young unless we wanted to pick this high, but that wouldn't quite be very valid, right? It's not upholding to that channel at all. But so long as price maintains and breaks past this resistance or fib resistance, we should be BTC should maintain making higher highs. It should stay bullish, or at least start getting bullish again. Now back to our DMI, right? Directional move, or the DMI, directional movement index. It's currently somewhat neutral on a 4-hour, right? There is no trend. We've been trading sideways, and hence there's no trend. If we go to a 1-day, the trend is declining, right? And we know the ADX is not a directional indicator, where the ADX part of the DMI, whether it's coming down or up, is irrelevant, but it's the steepness of it Now we did see the downtrend. If you've been, I'm not sure if you're a VIP or if you have access to my notes, I had posted that, hey guys, you know, the daily ADX is peaking, and we tend to see a lot of reversals at these levels, right, where it's almost at a peak, and typically in a correction, that's where it wants to turn around. DI positive and DI negative are currently, neither of them is being very aggressive, right? DI negative is still in control as it's above DI positive, which are the green line and the red line. But if you go on like a shorter term time frame, looks like it's a battle between bulls and bears. Bulls are tending to be a little bit more aggressive than bears. But if you look up like a BTC USD shorts chart on TradingView, and longs, and then you'd be able to get better metrics instead of just DI plus, DI minus. You are welcome, Matthew Panks. Let's see, IOTA. You're welcome, Joshua. Ouch. Getting crushed. You can see there's a little bit of bullish dip. Let's go to a one-day chart. I dislike this bearish engulfing candle, but then again, if you look at BAT, right, BAT, it somewhat did the same thing. It rallied into a capitulation candle. It just wicked off and just kept selling off in a steep sell-off, and then it went back into a rally mode. Let me get rid of the volume indicator so you can see the bottom and fib it. This is why I preach stop losses, and every trade we post has a suggested stop loss, right? And why we say profit take. That's why we profit took Mana the other day on divergences, because we don't want to, you know, end up bagging something indefinitely because of not setting a stop. Now, short term, the fib level is crushed. It's at a 78% fib. This is where no token wants to be. I would wait and see what tomorrow does, or the next couple of days on IOTA. I wouldn't just pick it up right now. I would not. It's not at the bottom of the range. It's not at the top of the range. It hasn't even established a range. I dislike it. I don't like this chart right now. All right. Altcoin requests. Anybody else? You're welcome, Ram. Is that it? All right, well, if we're gonna finish it off, I'm gonna go into market. All right, lumens. Delilah, so I had re-signaled Lumen a few days ago. Not sure what that last chart was. So Lumen is showing an inverse head and shoulders, right? And it's it came back down and retested the low of that. So let me go to my drawing tools. I know, we miss you in the chat. We haven't seen you in a while. All right, so signaled this on the inverse head and shoulders. Where's price right now? It's at the neckline. right? So Lumen's looking good for a continuation. This is reversal pattern. Bears were able to push it back down, but price is upholding below the neckline. These would be throwbacks. I'm gonna go ahead and go over Poly next, because we bought the throwback on this one. This would be a throwback, right? This would be a gift, because it's below the neckline. Usually when we see a breakout, we want to see a retest the breakout level for a continuation. But it looks like Lumen, dipped a little further. Let's draw a fib. Let's do a fib, and I'm gonna go from this last swing low, which was the head. It traded below the 61.8, which is pretty sketchy. And then now it's actually, wanting to head back up on that 2-hour time frame. A good stop would be below this previous low at the 78% fib. But then I actually picked up some Lumen, some more Lumen right here on that throwback. Another throwback example is Poly. Just 2 days ago, I said we're seeing a bull flag breakout on Poly, and currently at the throwback level. Right, price came up, formed a flag, had a breakout, came back to our throwback. This was our re-entry on Poly. Right, and it made 18% today. Now it's starting to come back down slightly. This is why I don't like just picking a token, kind of like, we're looking at IOTA, where it's still making those lower lows. I'd rather find something, a bullish signal or 2 or 3, and then buy on a throwback or on a fib retracement, and trade consciously instead of, if somebody told me it's a good coin, I'm just going to buy it and wait and hodl. It's an investment. No, investments should go up regardless. That's sweet. Well, when you're ready to come back, we're here. Sochi's been doing really well. She opened a 50x leverage long the other day when I was in at 25. So you should catch up with her, see what you girls can do. All right. Facebook, hit me with a request. You guys have been awfully quiet tonight. It's Friday. Everybody's out. You guys pre-gaming already? Let's go into market cap. I did the math earlier. Market cap's up 11%, right, from the yearly low. And it could get really, if we experience this next boom, this next bullish cycle, and we can break past some of the previous resistances, there's gonna be a long ways up, because we're over 70% off the top, right? So there's, according to last year's gains, I really think that we're due for another rally, right? Something of the violent, sustainable type, especially with all the recent developments. You guys that are in our community, I have released the ERC20 token list. It's in my notes. It's under Saber Notes. And then I had released the same list previously this year, whenever we saw ZRX, BAT, and a lot of these tokens on a rally over 100% in 30 days last time around, right? That was because of institutions, or these tokens being available for institutions to put in cold storage. And now we're seeing Coinbase Prime and several other institutional type of exchanges and different holdings companies come into the game and offering resources for institutions. So if this is going to be the institutional run, we can expect market cap to gain quite a bit, especially since we're 11% off the bottom. I'm going to finish this off with Bitcoin dominance. What's going on, Cypher? I see him typing up. All right, BTC dominance is headed back up, which is good, right? We had been in decline for a while. All right, I'll check SIA for you. 42% from that 35% low of the year. Let's look at others. Alts are 22, right? So last time we were approaching a rally, alts were at like 20 and they shot up to a 26. Last resistance was at 24. I don't believe we're going to see as many altcoins rally as far as numbers go, but we're going to see less altcoins make more gains. And that's just what the dominance chart is telling me, and it's just my perspective. Let me cover SIA. SIA is in a range, right? Absolutely range trade right now. What do we know about ranges, right? 3 touches. It's in a pretty big range too. I like that. What about this range? Well, this range is actually showing somewhat of a hidden bullish div, or a bullish div, as RSI, right, made the slower low. I wouldn't call it a divergence yet. Well, back here it would be, right? This was a failure swing. This was a bullish divergence. Now coming back down. It's in a range, Cypher. So, you know, if one was to momentum trade it, they would wait till it closes above the range with a tight stop at the top of the range. If one was to range trade it, they would buy it at the bottom of the range. It's currently in a no-go zone, so I'll set some alerts. You set some alerts as well. So we want to set our alerts on at the range. So break above the range would be a continuation, and break below the range would be a non-continuation. All right, wax. This is what was worrisome about wax, right? And this is why we see this sell-off happen, as there was quite a bit of a divergence on these tops. Call it a hidden bearish div because it was the same RSI high on 2 occasions when price was raging, right? So this pullback is going to be natural, and that's just a reaction to the bearish divergence. It looks like it could be at a double bottom right now. Let's fib it. Beautiful. Dragonfly Doji at the 61.8 Feb. That makes for a good entry with a tight stop below the doji candle. But we do see this massive probe, right? And you even told me about the probe a few days ago. You're like, hey, Wax just got probed really bad, and then it rallied. Let's look for some more probes. But I'd expect continuation from Wax. I would. It's a good time to add BTC to bag. So that's been a solid question, right? I had some of my personal friends and contacts say, hey, is this my time to buy? We're long at 57.58, and I've got some friends and associates that haven't even gotten in. They've been waiting to get in, and I said, whatever amount you want to put in, what I would do is I would split it up into 5 chunks or 6 chunks, and then scale it in on some dips, right? So like on the daily low, so we see BTC enter a sell-off mode. I would wait till it goes oversold on some kind of time frame, but I would say essentially yes. There's one thing that's worrisome. It's this divergence, right? There's 2 ways around that. Either wait for the divergence to clear, so wait for the next high. And if the next high makes a higher high on RSI, then pick up the next dip, right? Other than that, then it's trying to find, some of these nice oversold levels at previous support levels. So if we see another leg down, a good area to try to pick up a long would be somewhere in this range, right? Where we see the low of a previous range, the high of a previous range, 62.65. But then based on my 1 day, we shouldn't see 62.65 anymore unless BTC is going bearish. So it's in a choppy zone. That being said, I do have a nice leveraged long from 5,800 at 25x. I'm expecting to keep going up, and I'm adding to it. So I added to it today. Well, guys and gals, thank you all for tuning into Power Hour. If you're not on our Discord, hop on our Discord, join our Discord. I put up links to the 3 previous reports saying, we're going to see a turn. I put one out on the 21st of June, put one out on the 29th of June, right when we saw this rally start to happen. And then I put another one out today highlighting some of the plays that we played, like Mana, Ether Classic, Digibyte, some of the things that have made us gains since that announcement, right? So I'm expecting a rally. I'm expecting alts to start making some gains. The ERC20 list, if you guys are subscribed, it's in my notes. Go to my notes, check out that list, and those are going to be a good tokens to diversify in for now, because that's what institutions are going to be able to put in cold storage. What that means is they won't be as easily accessible to sell off on open market. Anyways, I'll catch up with you guys on Monday, right? Enjoy your weekend, and happy Friday. Thanks.